Forget the New World Order you've heard about. The future isn't being decided in Washington or Beijing. It is being forged in capitals you might not be watching. And the world they're building for 2026 is messier and way more fascinating than anyone ever predicted. For a long time, the world operated on a pretty simple premise. After the Cold War, two big ideas for a new world order popped up. One was from Mikhail Gorbachev, who imagined a cooperative system with shared European values and a stronger global institution. The other was George H.W. Bush. His version was a unipolar moment, a world led by the United States, freer from terror. And for a while, that American-led world was our reality. But that era is over. The global order is cracking. And no, this isn't about conspiracy theories or secret groups plotting on single world government. The reality is something much more complex and happening right out in the open. It's a shift away from one dominant power to a world that's best described as multipolar. And in this new game, a whole new class of players are stepping out onto the field. Welcome to the age of the middle powers. These are nations that aren't quite superpowers, but have more than enough economic, diplomatic, and military muscle to shape their own regions and even influence the world. They're refusing to just be pieces on a chessboard in the game between the US and China. Take India. It's performing a delicate balancing act on strategic autonomy. New Delhi works with the US on security in the Indo-Pacific, while also being a key member of the BRICS group with China and Russia, and positioning itself as a leader of the global south. Then look at Turkey. Straddling Europe and Asia, Ankara has turned itself into a key diplomatic power broker. It plays its own game, which sometimes causes friction with its NATO allies. But by building up its own defense industries and managing crises from the Black Sea to Syria, Turkey is proving it can't be ignored. And you've got Brazil, an economic giant in South America, re-emerging as a regional leader and a voice for the developing world. Tackling everything from climate change to reforming global finance. And don't forget Saudi Arabia, with its Vision 2030 plan to move beyond oil. Rita is using its economic and diplomatic power to become a major hub for global trade, investment, and meditation. These nations aren't choosing a side, they are choosing their side. They're practicing multi-alignment, creating a web of different partnerships to maximize their own power and freedom. These changes are happening faster than most people realize. And if you want to stay ahead of the headlines and get the real story, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. This new global competition isn't just about land anymore. It's being fought on new playing fields. The first is technology and resources. The race for everything from AI semiconductors to the critical minerals needed for green energy is creating new alliances and new tensions. Middle powers are even forming their own coalitions, like a potential OPEC for lithium, to gain more leverage. The second battleground is global trade. As the world rewires its supply chains, countries are fighting to control the key corridors that move goods around the planet. This isn't just about money, it's about strategic power. Finally, the fight is happening in diplomatic halls. Groups like the expanded BRICS, which now includes countries like Egypt, Iran, and the UAE, and represents nearly half of the world's population, are becoming a real counterweight to Western-led institutions. The conversation is no longer just about who is on top, but who gets to set the rules. So, what do the new rules look like in 2026? Well, for starters, alliances are more fluid and transactional. Think of them less like marriages and more like short-term contracts. Foreign policy is becoming less about big ideas and more about very specific national interests. This makes the world more volatile and unpredictable, as regional conflicts can bubble up without a global referee to cool things down. The US and China rivalry is still a huge deal, but it no longer dictates everyone else's moves. Instead, middle powers are smartly navigating the space between the two giants, playing them off each other to reduce risks and seize opportunities. They are creating their own strategic wiggle room through flexible, issue-by-issue partnerships. The world of 2026 is experiencing a great fragmentation. The unipolar moment is a distant memory, and we are not heading for a simple rerun of the Cold War. Instead, we are in a messy, contested, multipolar world defined by the rise of confident and independent middle powers. This new era isn't necessarily more dangerous, but it is a whole lot more complex. It's a world where power is spread out, alliances are temporary, and the future is being written not by one or two authors, but by many. What does this mean for you? It means more uncertainty, for sure, but also new opportunities as the global deck gets reshuffled. The big question is no longer who will lead the world, but how all these competing powers will manage to coexist. Which rising power do you think will have the biggest impact in the next decade? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want me to dive deeper into this, be sure to leave a like. Remember, stay thoughtful and stay stubborn.